Greetings, here we are again with George Dobell for Ask George, India v England, second test, day one. So, George, you have moved to Visakhapatnam, otherwise known as Vizag. How is that?
It's lovely, thank you. By the seaside, clean and fresh, short journey to the ground. Yep, enjoyed it, thank you.
Lovely. Well, when I heard Vizag, I thought of a song that I was just listening to in the radio, Visage, Fade to Grey. Do you remember that one?
I do.
Absolute classic. Here we go. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for copyright.
Yeah.
Right. Just a few seconds, so hopefully we won't get in trouble with copyright. Right. Let's plow on then with these questions. And the first...
Which film is that used in very prominently?
Oh. Oh.
Wow. Give you a clue. It's
Educating Rita. No.
I think that probably came out before the song. No.
Okay.
Anthony Hopkins.
Silence of the Lambs.
I think so. I think so.
Visage Fade to Grey.
I think so.
Absolutely love it. Are they French? I think they're French, aren't they? One man on a lonely platform. That could be you waiting for your train in the morning to go to the station, go to the ground.
You're not very often lonely when you're waiting for transport in India.
I see, right. Okay. Right, let's have the first question. Sorry?
There are a lot of people here.
Yeah. Well, that's nice for you to have a company anyway. I'm glad you have. I don't want you to be lonely. Right, first question is from our old friend Background Noise, and they say, a tremendous day of attritional test cricket, a flat track, hard graft for every wicket, what's not to love?
Yeah, I don't know how attritional it was, you know. I thought that there was quite a lot of action. I mean, there were 340 odd runs in the day. Yeah. I don't know when that became attritional, really. But yeah, it was hard work for the bowlers. Look, I think it was a really important toss, and winning it was a really significant advantage to India. So for England to get them 6 down by the close, and they've got a tail as well, I thought England had a terrific day. You know, I thought this was a day that a few years ago, funnily enough, I did a test here in 2016, and on that tour, India made some massive scores. And I think they'd have been trying to get sort of 550 or something, really bat England out of the game. But, you know, England kept going, and I think they found someone with quite a lot of promise in Shoaib Bashir. And they did well. They did, and Jaiswal obviously is a brilliant player, but no one else got more than 34. So, you know, a bit of batting to come. But once these two are parted, it is pretty much the tail. So, yeah, England should go to day two pretty satisfied with what they've done, I think.
Yeah, as you say, 336 runs in 90 overs at 3.73 an over. So when you compare to the scoring rates in previous tours, sort of 170. Yeah.
It's not that attritional, is it? But it just shows how, I mean, he's right, or they are right, that it shows how our expectations have changed.
Yeah. Okay, another regular to Ask George, Jack Rule says, when are England finally going to put their hands in their pockets and invest in technology so they can clone James Anderson?
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing, isn't he? 41, playing as a lone seamer. I mean, there were spells today that were just fantastic. You know, he got movement. He went for 1.7 or something and over 1.76, I think. It's fantastic. Cloning, I don't know whether that would be an answer, but if he were a racehorse, they'd breed from him. You should suggest that Loughborough, he you know, could create a race of super beings.
Put out to stud. Okay.
He could put out to stud, I guess.
Yeah. Well. Okay, well, I mean, that's an alternative. I mean, Stuart Broad's gone to the commentary box, but, you know, you do look for different careers, don't you? Yeah, we'll see. Okay, Will Cooling.
Think outside the box, haven't you?
Will Cooling asks, on a similar subject, Anderson, as an ultra-economical pressure bowler, can surely make it to the next Ashes right. So, similar thing.
I mean, don't rule anything out, but I suspect that if England are relying on James Anderson for the next Ashes in Australia, something would have gone a bit wrong.
Yeah,
really, I mean, he obviously wouldn't let them down, but you generally want bowlers who hit the pitch quite hard and bowl a bit quicker than he does at this stage in his career. And how old would he be by then? 42, 43? Surely not. But haven't we? I mean, everything's ridiculous. Everything's ridiculous. He's a 41-year-old playing as the only seamer in an attack in India. Come on. I mean, if you hadn't been watching his career, as we obviously all have, this would have seemed impossible.
How old was Kapil Dev when he was still going, wasn't he? With the only seamer.
I would say late 30s, late 70s. I'd say 37 or so.
Yeah.
But with diminishing returns.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in saying that Jimmy Anderson's got a better bowling average in Asia than Kapil Dev. I mean, Kapil Dev also batted.
He was only 35, so yeah.
35 was he? Yeah. So, I mean, how old was Bob Willis when he retired? 33.
Yeah, a bit different.
I don't know. It's a miracle what we're seeing, and I wasn't absolutely sure this wouldn't seem like a bridge too far, but it hasn't. He's been terrific, absolutely terrific, and I love how much he loves it. Imagine, he's been dropped a few times now, and he's gone away, and instead of thinking, okay, I've had a really good time of it, he's tried to make himself better and fitter and quicker again. I love the amount he loves it. There's, I do find it funny though, because he always says he loves a day in the dirt, and he looks as grumpy and miserable as all hell, doesn't he? But he must love it because he keeps coming back for more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can pretty much guarantee he's not doing it for the money. I think he's probably all right on that score at this stage. So it's, there was a bit of that in Stuart Broad, and I think I wrote yesterday I compared James Anderson to Andy Murray. I love how much he loves it too. He's not worried about his reputation being diminished by losing a bit and his, overall win-loss ratio changing or anything like that. Andy Murray loves tennis, doesn't he? And Jimmy Anderson obviously loves bowling and loves cricket and loves the challenge, the competitiveness. And to challenge himself to bowl on these wickets again against this Indian side, I've got nothing but admiration for it.
And Ronnie O'Sullivan and James Milner, maybe, other sports. Was it? Yeah.
I don't think it's quite the same, is it?
Well,
but the rest
of still the best, yeah.
It's not quite as physical, is it?
No, true.
Been Ronnie O'Sullivan. I'm not having a go because he's obviously a genius at what he does. But there's
nothing left to achieve. There is a right.
Well, I don't know. I remember. I don't think this is.
Remember now what I was going to say now. Yeah.
Well, I vaguely remember Jimmy Anderson saying at the end of a series in the Ashes, it must have been that one that Joe Root was ill. So what year is that? 17, 18, something like that. Because he basically captained at the end of it. And he was sitting in the sort of bowels of the Sydney cricket ground talking to the English media. And he said, unprompted, something along the lines of, on a level, I don't think I'm going to be able to accept leaving here with them having won for the last time. And none of us thought he'd be back, but amazing. Hates losing, love to win here again. Maybe it's possible. Amazing story.
Just to check, the Ashes, the next Ashes is 2025, 26, isn't it? Which is,
I think so.
Yeah, 2.5 years after the last one, because something changed then, because it was the 85 Ashes, then the 86, 87 Ashes. So England used to go over to Australia 18 months after they'd hosted them, and it's now 2.5 years after they hosted them. So I might go away and look at that afterwards, and that'll keep me occupied for 10 minutes. So right now
themselves. Oh, they
sorry,
will.
Your thing went there. What do you say?
Those trains won't run themselves.
Well, I've messed up my train set. I've had a disaster.
Can I just draw the viewer's attention to the strategically placed trophy?
That's the Suffolk Stags Cup. I told the guy, my opponent Rob Sledmere, that I was going to put it in the background to taunt him because I am the holder of the Suffolk Stags Cup.
Okay, well, how do you win that? What is the Stags Cup? Dare I ask?
He played a cricket match on his stag do, and was given that cup. And so now he plays my team, the Carpadiums. The Carpadiums play the Suffolk Stags every year in Suffolk. And I think weirdly, he won the first 5, and then I've won 5 of the last 6. So something like that. So I'm the holder, and I promised I'd put it in the background to taunt him.
So people watching this probably thought they're going to hear about Jimmy Anderson, Bashir.
Well, because one of my best reporters was in the Suffolk Stags Cup, 5 for 44 at Framlingham College. And so, yeah, there we go for longevity of seam bowlers.
Have you just compared yourself to Jimmy Anderson?
Anyway, enough about me. Well, we did last year in Ask George, didn't we? Because I got a fifer for the fifths last year. So, yeah. Regular viewers remember that possibly. Right, let's come on to the next one. Enough about me. Reese Benjamin says, how refreshing was it to see more than 90 overs in a day? We get a lot of letters to the Cricketer magazine about this, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's good to see a full day's play. I mean, it's not that rare actually, but yeah, it was good to see it, and it's fun to see different styles of cricket, isn't it? Lots of spinners and lots of yeah, it's good. And over-8s generally, I do believe, are a problem, and you probably know what I think already, which is that if you ensured that spectators got their money back as a ratio of what they've missed, I promise you they'd find a way to fix it.
Okay, Swapnil Singh asks, is there any other keeper that would have caught that under edge? Foakes is just so good.
He's absolutely fantastic. It was a moment of genius. Did you see it? I mean, it was.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. There are brilliant, loads of super keepers in the world, and what do I know? But credit where it's due. It was brilliant.
Yeah, wasn't a very good ball, was it? So
it wasn't. I mean, it was a long hop that kept low, actually. And the batter was a wee bit unlucky. But to under edge, it's always difficult to catch under edges. And I thought both the technique was good in that he stayed low, he stayed in position until the last possible moment, and because of that, he's given himself a chance of catching it. But he still had to react and sort of scoop it up, and he just held on to it. At a moment of genius. I thought it was incredible, to be honest. I'm really glad that people have noticed. I'm a massive Ben Foakes fan.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, penultimate question from Shrey. How much would have England scored today batting first?
Who knows? Genuinely, there's no answer I can give you that's got any intelligence at all. They'd have tried to score lots, and maybe in doing so, they'd have been bowled out. So, I'd be guessing, wouldn't I? But the pitch hasn't deteriorated yet. If they get batting early on day 2, they can score some runs still, and it will deteriorate. Batting last probably will be quite a significant disadvantage. So India needed to take the opportunity to get big first innings runs, and they haven't really. Anything below 4, doesn't start with a 4, they'll be quite disappointed.
I think England would have scored 303 all out in 61 overs. There we go. Right, last question is from Danny. Which is stranger, that England's strategy seems to involve hoping for a miracle in every match, or that it keeps working?
It's a really good question. I think the encouraging thing is that their miracles are coming from different people. I've thought often that they've been a bit overly reliant on Ben Stokes for their victories anyway, and Joe Root, obviously. But, it was Tom Hartley and Ollie Pope last week, wasn't it? And while I don't think you could say 2 for 100 is a miracle, I do think it's, from Shoaib Bashir, I do think it was a really encouraging first day in Test cricket for him. And also, take a step back again, it's pretty miraculous what England are doing. They had 3 spinners with 3 caps between them, 2 of them aged under 21, and a 41-year-old seamer playing on his own. I mean, it's kind of miraculous. So, they are completely untethered to convention or expectation or tradition. And sometimes I feel that they're trying to be a bit funky. But so often they're pulling it off. They just keep proving me wrong and them right. So, and also I think that the whole thing is evolving all the time. Would he he'll declare if he had his chance again at Edgbaston? Well, he'll say yes, but I don't know. But there's a lot to like and admire, and he's obviously a very good, Ben Stokes is obviously a very good leader, a very good empathetic captain. There's a nice moment today, I'm told, that right before the start, they're in their huddle, and Ben Stokes says to Shoaib Bashir, it's okay to be nervous, we're all nervous. It's natural, but remember why you first started playing the game and enjoy it. And to me, he looked like I was going to say a kid, but maybe that's a bit patronizing, but he isn't very old, is he? Who really was absolutely loving it, which is great to see, isn't it? He didn't look daunted or anything. He just looked like someone with loads and loads of natural skill and more to come, I suspect.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a bit of feistiness as well, the way he celebrated one of the wickets, certainly the first one.
Well, I wondered. I actually said, I can't remember who I was sitting in between Vish and Stefan from the BBC and Cricket Info, respectively. And I mentioned that I wonder if you could put a bet on for him to take 1,000 first-class wickets. So no one's going to do that anymore, really, are they? You'd have to take 50 a year for 20 years, wouldn't he? Mm. Is that possible?
Yeah. No, I just wonder whether he slightly had the temperament of Ashwin, actually. Just looks like he's got a bit of a sort of...
He's actually got a little bit of the physicality of Ashwin, but I think he's a bit more agile.
Seam bowlers, fast bowlers, temperament.
He's not as grumpy as Ashwin, is he?
No, just the way he'll go for it. Get and attack and accelerate wickets. And of course he's not. But I'm just saying he's got that little bit of fight, isn't he? That's that thing. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think he has. And that's, I'm a big Ashwin fan. What he hasn't got is the all-round game that Ashwin's got yet. I mean, obviously Ashwin can bat, but I meant actually he's got a lot of variations with the ball. Mm. And one thing I did think is that he doesn't get a lot of drift. But so Moeen, for example, and Graham Swan, Moeen actually got as nice drift as you'll ever see, really. Mm. But he didn't. Anyway, that could come. His arm is very high at the moment. Maybe it's too high. I don't know. But that is something that maybe he could work on. And with that as well, given to that, I still think he'd get bounce. He's still going to be bowling from a high action and all the rest of it. He gives it a real tweak, doesn't he? Yeah. And he gets it to go up and down. Even though he's tall, he still gets it to go up and then dip. So there's real lovely basic skills. He obviously loves bowling. He obviously has done quite a lot of it. And I think he's going to do loads and loads more. I don't know. At what stage do we start thinking of him as England's #1 spinner? Not yet. But I wouldn't be that surprised. Look, it's different. If someone can bat, they're always giving themselves an opportunity. But he certainly looked the best spinner in the side today. And, I don't think he's replaced Jack Leach yet. But maybe, is it a reminder that Somerset did a service to English cricket by providing spinning pitches? Probably not. It's probably a bit of a facile point because Shoaib has only really just arrived in Somerset, hasn't he? And didn't really develop there. But I think there's a point to be made there anyway that, Somerset's turning wickets over the last few years were actually quite helpful to English cricket.
Yeah, they should have just left them alone. But unfortunately, they've made them go the other way now, made them more seaming, haven't they? Yeah, I mean, Shoaib has come from Berkshire and Surrey, hasn't he? But no, he looks very exciting. And I've got a little bet on with my friend, the postmaster in Coshulton today. He's saying 375 and I'm saying they'll get 400. So we'll see tomorrow, won't we?
Who will?
The postmaster in Carshalton Post.
Who will get 375?
No, India. India will reach 400, I think, and he's saying 375. He's not optimistic. He's not optimistic about after Ashwin.
If they score 400, England have to get 500 because, as I said, batting last will be a disadvantage, I suspect.
Well, traditionally it always is, but I mean, with Bazball.
Well, more so here. If you look at the stats, they're quite. I mean, every side who's batted first here in a test has won.
Okay. Yeah.
This is only the third. It's a rubbish stat.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Is Honey going to say hello?
Honey, you going to say hello? Should we wake her up?
Well, I don't know. She hasn't been working all night. I mean. Hello, Honey.
Hello.
How are you?
And I messed my railway up. I've tried to put gravel down on the tracks, and I put the gravel over the tracks. Stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to have to lift the tracks and then put the gravel down. But
Can you not just pretend they're on strike? Make it more realistic.
They are on strike in England today, aren't they? There is a rail strike here today. I went to the railway station the other day to go and interview Jamie Cox at Lords, and got there and there was no trains. So that was a bit of a nuisance. So, but there we go. That's the trouble we have. Have you been on a train in India? I love Indian trains. I'd love to go on one day.
No, I came here by aeroplane.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think, but traveling around. Right. Anyway, enough of the prattle. I think people probably had enough of us, haven't they, by now? Do you think?
More than enough.
What are you going to have for tea?
Remember, it is endorsed by Richard Gould as a sleep aid.
Yeah. Cure for insomnia.
Nothing else.
Cure for insomnia. What are you going to have for your tea now?
I've got a bit fat, to be honest with you, and I thought I might not have anything, and I might have a very early night. I'll be honest, we overindulged a wee bit yesterday.
Okay, yeah, lovely. Well, it's good to hear. What goes on tour stays on tour and all that. Right, I'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.